Hello. How you feeling tonight? I feel okay. Not bad. Almost good. Hey. And I'm part of the reason I'm in a good mood is because I accomplished something yesterday. Now, when I say accomplished something yesterday, I mean I reached the end of a multi-day quest yesterday. Multi-day, multi-week really. I should explain. I am going on vacation this summer. I've wanted to go on vacation since last fall when I found out a friend is getting married. So I requested time off from work, and I waited and I waited and I waited, and then there were problems, and then I heard the prices were going down, and I waited and I waited. So I finally am getting on top of, hey, I need to get the plane tickets. And I looked online, looked at the prices, I'm like, well, it looks like the best option is this airline. They've got direct flight. Doesn't matter what airline. Let's not even call out anybody. Doesn't matter. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I have an account with them. I used them a long time ago. Let me find my account number. I looked it up. I was like, here's an account number. I go to the website. I put in the account number. It's like, we don't have your address on file. What's your address? So I typed in my address, and they're like, your account has been locked. Please call us. And I was like, ugh. Okay. So I got on the phone. I called the phone number, and I waited. And I waited, and I waited, and I waited. I waited for an hour on this phone call. And that's not great. But it was made worse by the fact that the system itself, the automated system, first of all, it kept offering like, hey, why don't you just hang up and we'll call you back? And I'm like, you're not going to call me back. I don't live in America. You're not going to call me back. I don't believe you. And the other thing was like, it kept hyping up the website. Like, did you know you can do this on a website? Did you know you can do this on a website? Did you know that if you go to our website, you can do all this stuff? It's like, I know you have a website. I'm sure you're very proud of it. But if I'm calling you on the phone, I probably have a reason to call you on the phone. In fact, your website told me to call you on the phone. So I tried. But their automated system was really testing my patience, and I waited and I waited. Eventually, I got a person. And I told them the problem. I gave them my number. I was like, excuse me, I'm trying to unlock my account. And they looked at everything. It's like, well, your account is locked. I was like, I know this. And they said that, well, your account is locked for 24 hours, and not even we can do anything about it. So you have to call back. Dear viewer, I was extraordinarily patient with this person. I know they aren't the ones who make the rules. I know it's possible they made a mistake. But can you imagine waiting for an hour on the phone and then being told, oh, just call back. Call back another day. And like, the account is locked and you can't even do anything about it? What the hell is the point of that system? What's the point of that? Also, she talked to me as if like, oh, well, you must have mistaked me, failed your password. There was no password. I didn't have a password. It just said, type in your address. You're locked. So that put me in a pretty bad mood, but I waited. I waited 2 days. Actually, no, I waited 3 days. I wanted to be double sure that there was no question of this 24-hour period being over. So I waited. I sat down. I got everything ready. I'm like, all right, I'm going to call again. In my head, I'm like, it's probably going to be another hour, so I'll just call now and I'll get this done. Thankfully, the second time was much faster. I guess the second time wasn't a weekend, so shows what I learned. And the second person did their very, very best to help me, even though it was very clear they had an address for me, but they couldn't help me until I told them what that address was. Now, as you may guess, I've lived in a lot of places, over the last 15 years. I mean, if you go back further enough, there's my childhood home, there's my college address, there's my father's address, and this is an airline card. I could have gotten this airline card when I was a child. Like, that's possible. So I didn't know. Maybe they had my old address where I grew up. So I kept trying to give them addresses, and she's like, no. And then she very subtly like, do you live in Japan? And I was like, yes. But it turns out They had my first address. They had my very first address in Japan, an apartment that I moved out of 7 years ago. But it worked. I gave them the number, and so I was really appreciative because honestly, she could have been a robot. She could have been like, well, if you don't give me the address, we can't help you. Anyway, she fixed everything. She stayed on the line while I went on the website. I went on the website like they wanted me to, and I logged on and I fixed everything, and now my address is on file, and I have a password, and everything is good. So I bought my tickets to Seattle. I'm going to Seattle. I've never been to Seattle, and I'm going to Seattle in July. That's the good news. And that's it. Good night, everybody. I love you.